In this edition of Southern Newsweek, hundreds protest proposed cuts at the University of Otago as a consultation period begins. The newest addition to a rescue helicopter fleet is already proving its worth and expanding the scope of operations. And Dunedin residents rate the City Council's performance, and the results show some areas they want to see improvements in. Kia ora, I'm Holly Buchanan. More than 300 students and staff of the University of Otago have been protesting proposed cuts to the Humanities Department in Dunedin. Last week, staff received a letter advising them of proposed changes and giving them a 2-week consultation period. And the sounds of vocal opposition have been echoing throughout campus.
Students and staff are standing up and fighting back. The long proposed cuts to the Humanities Department at the University of Otago are likely to affect more than 5 equivalent full-time positions. This crowd grew as protesters made their way across campus to gather in front of the registry building ahead of today's University Council meeting. Addressing the 300 to 400 strong crowd, returning Dunedin City Councillor Aaron Hawkins empathised with their plight as a humanities graduate.
I can safely say that there hasn't been a day in my working life since that I haven't been proud of and grateful for the skills I acquired as a humanities student.
Signatures were collected for a petition to be tabled at the University Council meeting by 2 members. Associate Professor Brian Roper was one of the more passionate speakers, reminding those gathered that people power has beaten the university before.
It kind of creates a setting in which, especially in a context like this where the top university management are trying to cut staff in a particular sector of the university, it does actually contribute to the development of a culture of fear.
He felt he may have jeopardised his own employment by being so outspoken. Staff and students from across the institution are fighting the proposed changes. These humanities students are clearly concerned for their future.
We are very sad about that. We do not want that to happen because lots of people here are really passionate about the Humanities Department and we really don't want that to happen at all.
Humanities is very important to the community and the university. Most of everything we do in everyday life is based on humanities, communication, language, everything. It's very important to life.
Organisers, including the Tertiary Education Union, say the fight is far from over. Students are encouraging their peers to take the fight to social media and to encourage their friends to join the battle. This afternoon, the Pro-Vice-Chancellor of Humanities, Tony Ballantyne, issued a statement advising that, quote, no departments or programs would be shut down, end quote. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Public hearings for the Dunedin City Council's second generation plan, known as 2GP, are continuing. Submitters, including the University of Otago, are scheduled to make their opinions known over the coming week. The plan's been 3 years in the making and will replace the existing district plan when ratified.
The Dunedin City Council is getting a chance to respond to submitters and to present its own evidence as public hearings for the 2GP continue. Staff are listening to submissions on various topics while commissioners consider whether to make any changes to the proposed plan.
But also, through the process we're trying to learn more about where there might be opportunities for change, that we might make changes to our recommendations as well.
Of the key issues being put forward, a number are about specific buildings. There's also much discussion around the creation of precincts. The most submissions are about city rise and whether the medium density rules will have a negative impact on heritage.
So I think that's something that will be really interesting over the next few days to see how that evidence is presented and some of the ideas that may be raised around that in terms of how we could reduce the potential impacts on heritage.
Hazelton's excited about the future of Dunedin's built heritage. He says while it's previously come under the operative plan, that hasn't always given enough scope for enabling some projects.
The way we've approached this plan is to be more enabling, so I think if we can achieve what we have under, in some areas, relatively restrictive rules, I think it's very exciting to think about what you could do under somewhat more enabling rules.
Hearings for the 2GP are expected to finish in February next year. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
More lives are likely to be saved as a result of new technology being used in Otago's rescue helicopter operations. It means pilots can fly in poor visibility, which previously limited rescues. And the investment is already paying off.
The Otago Rescue Helicopter Trust has recently upgraded its fleet of air ambulances. With the addition of a top-of-the-line Kawasaki BK117 helicopter, the set has grown to 4. Chief Pilot Graham Gale says the upgrade will revolutionise their performance.
Look, this is a game changer for what we do. What it actually enables us to do, it enables us to fly single pilot IFR, but at lower levels. And at lower levels in areas that you wouldn't been able to fly IFR.
IFR stands for Instrument Flight Rules, where pilots fly by reference to instruments in the flight deck. The upgrade is the biggest of its kind in New Zealand's history. Gale says the new technology comes at a substantial cost, but he's measuring its value in lives saved.
I think when you ask the cost, I think it's I would rather answer that and say it's what the capabilities are. Will it make a difference, in our region? Will it make a difference out there? And yes, it will.
Gale says the helicopter is able to fly lower in weather conditions with reduced visibility. That means previously hard to reach rural areas can be better covered by the service. And staff have already flown some successful rescue missions using the new capabilities.
We went into Wanaka the other night twice, and those jobs, and that patient wouldn't have had that extra care if we didn't have this technology.
Formed in 1994, the Otago Rescue Helicopter Trust has grown to deliver service over more than 65,000 square kilometres. The team are hoping this upgrade will make their efforts even more effective. Jack Conroy, The South Today.
The annual South Dunedin Street Festival is not going ahead this year. Committee members say it's been cancelled due to the ill health of the main organiser, and they're learning an important lesson about collective responsibility.
The party's over, for this year anyway. The vibrant annual South Dunedin melee of street performance, food stalls, live music and more is taking a break.
The Festival Committee has decided to postpone the festival for this year, and we're going to be holding it next year. It's due to the festival was organised by a convener, Nick Orbell, and Nick has been absolutely great and essential in the role, but Nick's had a few health problems later this year, and is unable to do the role this time round.
Waterhouse says the committee now understands it takes more than just one person to run a festival.
We have now realised the vulnerability of the festival being relying on one person. We still wish Nick well, and he will be coming back to do the festival again next year, but we will have a whole committee behind them.
He says much of the groundwork had been done, and it's taken a bit of an effort to advise stakeholders that the event's not going ahead. The next full South Dunedin street party is scheduled for early November 2017. However, Waterhouse says there may be a little something before that.
Also, we are looking at looking at the possibilities of logistics of holding a smaller event in early next year, maybe February or March next year. Watch the space.
He says if something can be organised for early in 2017, it won't be the full noise of the proper street festival, but should be a great community event. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
The Dunedin City Council Residents' Opinion Survey results are out, and the news is positive. The survey helps to gauge the perception and satisfaction of those living in the city towards the council's services and facilities. But there are some areas that locals want to see improved.
5,400 residents were invited to take Dunedin City Council's 2016 Residents' Opinion Survey, and just over 1,700 responses were received. The results showed a big jump in the number of people who perceive Dunedin to be a thriving city.
It is very gratifying to see steady lifts in almost all the results. The satisfaction with our city is increasing quite steadily and markedly, and it's great.
There was dissatisfaction in some areas, mainly stormwater, public toilets and availability of parking in the central city. But the Mayor says there's been a real effort in Council, developing strategies into business plans and looking ahead to see what success looks like.
And we've put them in place, they've not been there long. These results really vindicate those strategies and the visions that they encapsulate. So I think the new Council can say, yep, it's working, we're on the right track, and we can keep going on that track.
40% surveyed want to see more focus on core services, and the Chief Executive says it's a tough job balancing debt and addressing everyone's needs.
Every year at annual plan you get a little list of people who want you to build new things, make new grants, spend more money. You get another group who are saying you need to control the rates and not put the rates up, and you get another group who say you need to get the debt down.
She says last year the council made some strong decisions, spreading debt and spending extra in strategic areas.
So more into economic development, more into environmental sustainability, more into the social area of spending, more into arts and culture, and so everybody's getting a bit.
Residents were most satisfied with the city's cultural and recreational facilities, with the Chinese gardens a continued improvement. But the main issues remain the roading network, the stormwater system and support for Dunedin's economic development. Dee Karen, The South Today.
Coming up on Southern Newsweek, a Dunedin social service tackles a call for better quality meals by staging a bulk cooking session. And a unique program is teaching some Invercargill children how to become volunteers in their community. Welcome back. A Dunedin food bank is answering a call for better quality meals. A small team of cooks spent the day creating nutritious fare for the needy at St Vincent de Paul's Church, and they say there will be more bulk cooking sessions to come.
St Vincent de Paul's Church is doing a large cooking session to provide for their food bank on George Street. It prepares around 80 food parcels per week for those in need. With this new batch, they're trying to improve the quality.
Now, without offending any butcher, most sausages, and particularly pre-cooked sausages, aren't absolutely full of meat. So at a request from higher above, we are now putting together some meals for the food bank. They'll be frozen and they'll be given out.
Jones says that children are often the recipients of the food they provide, so it needs to be nutritious. When all is done, they'll have around 170 meals, enough to keep the bank going for a couple of weeks. For the mammoth task, they've enlisted some outside help.
Today, thankfully Cadbury's have donated their staff, 6 of their staff, ladies, to help us in the food bank, and I think it's tremendous. So basically Cadbury's are giving us their time and their girls are still being paid for it.
St Vincent de Paul's Food Bank has been providing its service for a number of years. It's operated by a large team of volunteers, with up to 6 or 7 rostered on at all times. Jones says this bulk cooking session is hard work, but the team will do more in the future.
You can say this will be a test trial. We'll do another one next Monday and see how it goes. It's a lot of hard work, but it's all about helping people.
To get help from St Vincent de Paul's, applicants can go to the food bank on George Street across from Knox Church. They receive funding from the Catholic Diocese, but donations are welcomed. Jack Conroy, The South Today.
A school holiday program at Otago Polytechnic is getting secondary pupils to cast their minds into the future. Around 30 teenagers have had the opportunity to see what the world might be like in the next few decades, and they're highlighting some issues of concern.
Could the future be totally dominated by robots and robotic technology? That's what 30 school pupils from around Otago were asking themselves when given a glimpse at the possible technologies being used in 50 years' time.
So we called the day Imagine the Future, and the conversation all day has been about future technologies, future jobs, future skills that they might need, and we've given them lots of hands-on, lots of activities, lots of pizzas. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Smith says technology that could become part of everyday life in the future includes musical robots, virtual reality and more.
They got to play with a project one of our third year students has made, which is a digital glove which converts finger taps within the glove to alphabets and numbers on screen. So it's another digital input-output thing. Yeah. So the whole conversation there was about what are the tools and technologies that will be used in the future, and it's not going to be about computers and screens and keyboards. It's going to be about all sorts of other ways of having inputs and outputs.
She says when asked, the high school pupils who came to the one-day session had strong ideas on what sort of employment issues might face their generation.
They really have some very clear ideas about where jobs are going, and this is their future, and they were very engaged in that because the training that they will do in high schools now and in their tertiary education may not be relevant for the jobs that are happening today, and so it was really, really great to be able to have those conversations with them.
Electronic waste has been a problem since the mass production of computers. It's just another factor young people are concerned about.
So that conversation was, if you've got a computer now, so again stretching out that timeline into the 2045, 2050, 2060, what will this actual piece of hardware become? And how can we think of different ways of repurposing and reusing it?
Another eye-opening piece of future tech being worked on at the Polytechnic is eye-tracking software, which, as the name suggests, follows the movement of the user's eyes. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
Southland children are learning about what it takes to be a volunteer in the community. They've been working through a week-long course with members of humanitarian groups in Invercargill. And they're not the only ones benefiting from the experience.
Today is the final day of the Red Cross and Number 10 led course for Southland children learning about community and humanitarian services. The 15 kids have been put through a range of tasks from Meals on Wheels to first aid and beach cleanups. They're also learning about what to do when a natural disaster hits.
Yeah, they were responding really positively through it. They loved the beach cleanup. We were saying that we didn't know so many kids would actually love picking up rubbish.
Lessons at the Southland Emergency Management Centre included preparing for earthquakes and surviving without electricity. The program is aimed at teaching youngsters about important life skills, but it's not just the participants learning.
I think it's great. Even today, I didn't know half of the stuff that we've already covered. Actually had no idea. So it's cool. It's cool for them to know.
The program's had the kids visiting places like the SPCA and helping out the elderly at Age Concern. The children say they've enjoyed the confidence they've gained through the activities, with one particular highlight shining through.
Probably talking to the elderlies and learning about what they've done in their lifetime and all that.
Doing Meals on Wheels, and I didn't really know what that was until I did it, and there's a lot of nice old people that we went to.
Getting to talk to the elderly people and doing beach cleanup.
This program's the first of its kind in the country. Number 10 and Red Cross are keen to keep it going in the next set of holidays and expand operations further up the country. Ruby Spink, The South Today.
After the break on Southern Newsweek, why a visiting monk is crafting a sand mandala in Dunedin. And we take a sneak peek at the work of this year's graduating photography students. Welcome back. As a special event for the Dunedin Arts Festival, the city's Buddhist Centre is publicly showcasing the work of its new resident teacher. The Tibetan monk recently arrived in New Zealand and is crafting a large mandala from coloured sand. And his pupils say the work will bring benefits to many.
The Dargye Buddhist Centre in Dunedin is currently exhibiting the creation of a sand mandala. It's the painstaking work of a Tibetan monk, Geshe Losang Durnyu, who has taken residence at the centre. Members say the traditional artwork is for the community.
The purpose of the mandala is to create merit and just to create wellness for the community, and to sort of invite the deity into the mandala and then pray that all the sentient beings in this area and everyone around will benefit from that.
This mandala is of Tara, a Buddhist deity also known as the Mother of Liberation, representing success and achievement. Preparation for the piece involved crushing marble into sand and dyeing it in various colours. This was followed by around 3 weeks of designing the shape and filling in the sand. Graham says it's been no small task for the lone monk.
Normally it would be 4 people making the mandala, 1 on each side, and we've done one once before in Dunedin like that, but he's doing it single-handed, so he's had to work at it pretty well every day for quite long hours.
The monk began life in Tibet before studying in a monastery in India to earn his Geshe degree. He's come to New Zealand to live and to teach the Buddhist way, although he's still learning English. Lessons include philosophy, psychology and religious practices, and Graham says they have applications for everyone.
It's not just for Buddhists, these are things of benefit to anyone who wants to sort of understand their mind and become free of some of the things that afflict us, like you know, the negative emotions that we have, and yeah, have a happier life.
When the mandala is finished on Sunday, it will be swept away and scattered on the wind over Dunedin Harbour. This way of disposal is chosen to demonstrate the impermanence of all things. Jack Conroy, The South Today.
A French cyclist and activist has just finished a 14-month world tour in Bluff. He's raising awareness and money for people without access to clean drinking water in Thailand. And he says he's glad the physical part of his journey has come to an end.
25,000 kilometres in 21 countries in 14 months. Theo Roffrich has just finished his journey from France to New Zealand, promoting a cause he's passionate about. He's been fundraising with the charity Cycle for Water to help provide access to clean drinking water for those currently without it.
So far 11,000 euros for about 4 primary schools in Thailand, in the poorest region of the country.
The money raised by his efforts will benefit 1,000 children. Before becoming aware of the charity, Roffrich wasn't an experienced cyclist.
Yeah, I wanted also to do something, you know, even though I never cycled before. It was like brand new thing for me. Today I'm happy to quit cycling, you know, I'm going to say that, but I quit. But no, it was really a great experience.
He's also aiming to promote the use of renewable resources through his journey. His bike frame's made of bamboo. Currently, 1/3 of the world's population doesn't have access to clean water. According to the World Economic Forum, the water crisis is the #1 global risk based on the impact to society. Roffrich says although his cycling project is finished, he's got another one lined up.
We're planning to fundraise for another project in Indonesia for about 3,000 people living in a village that unfortunately don't have like the ways of just having clean water, which is so important on a daily basis for every human.
He wants people around the world to know they can make a difference and to follow what they're passionate about. Ruby Spink, The South Today.
The annual end-of-year exhibition of work by Otago Polytechnic photography students is a colourful collection of images. It's the first year the course has been under Otago's umbrella, having previously been run by Otago Polytechnic. And staff and students say the transition is going well.
Framing is everything. Work from local certificate and diploma photography students shows a wide range of influences and styles, as they're from all walks of life. Tutor Frank Pollock is proud of the work his first and second year students are displaying and sees many possibilities for their future.
At the end of the program, the successful graduates, we have a pathway in our Otago Art School. That's a wing of Otago Polytechnic. They can go into their final year of their BVA program, the final year of the Bachelor of Visual Arts program.
He says if they don't want to go on to further study at Otago Polytechnic's art school, they'll have the skills to go straight into jobs anywhere in the world.
We have many graduates now working in and around Dunedin. Mind you, the majority are actually working overseas. Sometimes some potential photographers or potential students as photographers, they take a bit longer than others, but you know, we've got a good success rate as far as the trade is concerned.
The digital photography course was one of those to change from being run by Aoraki Polytechnic to Otago Polytechnic at the start of this year. It's a transition Pollock says has gone well.
But the transition has been so smooth. Otago Polytech has been very, very accommodating, and we're under the wing of the art school at Otago Polytech, and they've welcomed us with open arms. I mean, we've got a brilliant program running here, so we're really happy that it's still existing. And Not necessarily surprisingly, but we gained a massive amount of students this year.
The exhibition of digital photography is up at the Community Gallery until this Sunday. Daryl Baser, The South Today.
And finally, a sporting milestone is being acknowledged in Mosgiel. Lawn bowlers gathered on Saturday for a 25th anniversary event celebrating the versatility of Dunedin's first all-weather green. And a new look for club members has also been unveiled.
Saturday marked the opening day for the 2016-17 playing season for the Mosgiel Memorial RSA Bowling Club. Long-time players got together for the special occasion, and the club president says they've also reached a new milestone.
It also marks 25 years since the first artificial green was put down in Mosgiel here in Dunedin.
Hawkins says the club's been growing steadily over the last few years, with a membership of 86. The president puts this down to the bowling facility's versatile green. It's artificial, which means members can play in all seasons.
We can play all year round on it. We play winter bowls, we play on Wednesdays and Fridays during the winter, and we can play on a Sunday as well if we wish. But it's a winter bowls. It's an all year round bowling green.
The club acted as a branch of the Mosgiel RSA for the first 6 years of its life. The group then stepped out to form its own organisation in 1991.
We had our 25th anniversary. We had a 25th anniversary dinner in April, which was 25 years from the forming of the club.
The opening of the new season has also brought a new look, with an updated uniform bringing the club's crest into full view for the first time. Jack Conroy, The South Today.
And that's all for this edition of Southern Newsweek. You can see more of Southern News by following us on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, or via our website, channel39.co.nz. I'm Holly Buchanan. Thanks for watching.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.